two and two together there.
But yeah.
Well, we're trying this new cold entrance thing.
We're rolling, baby.
We are live
We're
and
rolling.
ready to roll, and I think Blaine is going to take us away tonight on all fronts.
Oh, okay.
I love that. What can I jump in first?
You haven't even been introduced.
Oh,
Just
man.
take the floor.
All right,
I love
let's
it.
go. Okay.
You got it.
Let it rip.
You're 10 weeks in to being a dad?
Yes, 10 weeks.
How was that? Sleeping through the night still? Like, how's our rest doing?
I feel like I sound fake and like a broken record continuing to say this, but we are being absolutely spoiled.
Yeah.
We know that this won't happen, Lord willing, with future children, but our daughter, Palmer, is the best baby ever. Like, she sleeps through the night every night. If she has a bad night, it means that she sleeps till 4:45
Gosh.
and doesn't make a peep till then.
Yeah.
She is stellar.
That's amazing.
It's been awesome.
I think the Lord just blesses
Yeah.
godly people.
That's right.
Because, like, that was not my experience.
Yeah, I was thinking the same
And I
thing.
think it was kind of like, there was just kind of like pushing it in a little bit. Just like,
I'm sure that future children may test more, but
Ben and Summer don't need that sanctification right now.
Yeah,
They're being sanctified in other ways.
Right.
In
Other
other
ways.
ways, for sure. But, like, the Lord's just like, here, just enjoy this beautiful life.
My wife is a saint during
This is
that
me.
time. Like, she would be able to get up and feed and do all of that. And I am not a nice person at 2:30 in the
neither.
morning when I get woken
Yeah.
up. You know,
No.
she is. I'm not.
yes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
On that
sorry,
note,
side note.
no,
there,
that was
sorry.
great. Welcome back to the Entrusted podcast. It is me and Ben Bracas in Birmingham, as he will be quite a bit. Hopefully, he'll be back.
So either be back
sporadically.
sporadically, or we're eventually going to get this live stream thing going on, and maybe
Yeah, he
phone
can
a
he can
friend.
hop himself in. But we are here tonight with a dear friend, for me, a fellow church member, member of the same family of believers here locally, and then the owner of the gym that Ben and I frequent weekly.
That's right.
And so we see Derek a lot.
I will say that has been a little less consistent post baby. So there's a part that has changed. I've been very consistent.
Kind of
every
depends on
Saturday.
how the night goes.
Well, I mean, like I said, she's pretty good in the night, but it's more dependent on what time in the morning she wakes
Yeah.
up and if I'm
Yeah.
going to try to help her out so Summer can keep sleeping.
Yeah.
There's a seasonality to it.
That's right.
And you come so early in the morning. I don't get there quite that
He
early.
had to pass off memory cards for all this to me the other day, and he texted me at 5:46, and he had done the 5 a.m. class and then
Yeah.
left them for me.
He's
And
already-
I was like, I'll be there at 8:15 class. Good job.
You've already done so much before most people are even up. you know?
Exactly.
When I get up.
So, Derek Gann, that is who is our guest tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Man, thank y'all so much for allowing me to come. It's an honor. It's humbling to be able to come. Y'all have had a lot of great guests on, and to be able to sit here and chat with y'all and have a conversation about the Lord's faithfulness is a real joy.
Amen.
Amen. We just recently had Dr. Larry Witt on, and he is in his mid-80s, so he gets the distinction as our eldest guest so far. You, I think, are our tallest guest so far.
Yes.
So
Hey,
I had
you
to-
gotta have something.
I made sure I got the mic up a little bit.
I appreciate
to,
that.
Make you feel
I
comfortable.
appreciate
So
that. We should leave a little mark on the door. You know, just
he did. For all those wondering, Derek is what he's 6'6".
I'm 6'6", yeah.
6'6". Derek looked up at my 6'8" door and kind of
Just to make sure that I
gave
could
it like a,
that I
you know,
could clear the
just in
threshold and not
case.
have to hit
It's
my head.
unfortunate that he may get surpassed by Mike if we can get him to commit. I think that Mike might have him.
Oh, really?
I think.
Okay, that's cool. I didn't know that. I never met
Potentially.
Mike. Yeah, nice.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll
So-
leave a mark on the door. We'll,
Derek has listened to episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for that. You know the drill, but we would love to hear about your first birth and the lead up and storyline into the Lord saving you in your second birth. And the floor is yours.
Oh, fantastic! So, first birth. So, Marietta, Georgia, a little bit north of Atlanta, was where I grew up. My parents still live there. My parents lived in two houses.
Nice.
They're 50 years of marriage. Which, side note, they'll celebrate here in a couple weeks their
Nice.
50th wedding anniversary.
That's awesome.
And so that's wild. But grew up there. Went to Noonday Baptist Church. I was, the saying, I was drugged to church. Like Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, my parents we were going to church and they were dragging me there, and in a good way. But like that's just what we did. That's who we were. And so we from VBS and the felt,
Oh, yeah.
Noah's Ark and all of that. I'm an 80s baby, and so we had all that growing up. And then at 8 years old, was really when I started to realize exactly what the Lord had done for me, and the gift that He had given me. And that's when I, back then we had a center aisle and walked down the aisle to the pastor and gave my life over to the Lord. And I would love to say that, hey man, from there it's been great. But at 8 years old, I realized what the Lord had done for me, but I don't know that I'd really been tested in life, really. And so continued to still keep coming. And but then high school, I was the good kid. I was the kid in class that the parents or the teachers would send notes to our parents, hey, Derek's such a joy to have in the class, never speaks out of turn, turns in his homework on time. And but I was quiet as well, and so just didn't really say very much. And then college, that kind of changed. College, I would say that my vocal cords opened up a little bit. I went down a path of, if you had to put me on trial for being a Christian, I don't know that you would convict me. And so that lasted a few years until the Lord and His sovereignty and His grace brought me back to where, like, I would still go to church, but I would go to church because we're in the South. Mm-hmm. I went to the University of Georgia. Don't hold that against me, but we're in the South, and you go to church.
We're inclusive here. We welcome all of the SEC.
I appreciate it.
Maybe behind the scenes we hold it against a little bit, but
yeah,
it's okay.
Not on air.
I mean, I appreciate
public
that.
facing.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and but it was, and then towards my senior year was really when the Lord really did draw me back to Him, and I just realized, like, hey, this isn't just, this is who you are, and this is a relationship that I want to have with you, and I want you to pursue me as I have pursued you, and so really from there is when the relationship side of my walk with Christ really started happening. And it wasn't just something that I did; it was who I really was, and so that's college. Graduating college, and then from there, really kind of dove into the Lord and what He would have for me, and then this journey of the past 20 plus years. We'll just say that the past 20 plus years of just really trying my best to live for Him and steward the things that He's given me well.
Would you say there was like a specific moment in college, specific thing that you recall or remember, or just kind of time, different season? All the above.
Yeah.
Let me give you some. I'm going to give you some context for kind of how you can draw this out. We heard from Dr. Witt something that we're going to bring up repeatedly. It might actually turn into like a segment.
It's probably going to be a segment or a callback every time.
Because I want you to pick this out in your own heart.
Thank you, Dr. Witt, for this.
Yes, because I have language to kind of help people think through this in my life. He basically said, I don't know specifically when the Lord saved me. Mm-hmm. And he said, but I don't remember specifically when I was born physically. But I would say after 85 years of living, the evidence is overwhelming that I'm alive.
Yeah.
So similarly with our conversion, it's often like I don't know if it was when I was 12 laying in bed after I saw my best friend walk an aisle, or if it was when I was 16 in my bedroom and I had this overwhelming sense that I was a sinner under the condemnation of God and I had to trust in a righteousness outside of me, or if it was 4 years later when I actually started doing it like the Bible says to do it. So like, where was the dimmer switch? How did that play itself out in your life?
Yeah, I think to your point, 8 years old, it was there, like the light was shining, right? And I can remember the kind of like your story laying in bed, like I can remember walking down the aisle and doing that and giving my life to Christ. But then, you can kind of look back at different points in life, and college would probably be one of them where it was maybe a Saturday morning. I can't remember if it was I think it was a springtime, but a Saturday morning, and just kind of reflecting back on just the previous years and going, this is it. Like, this is the life outside of Christ, or what people pursue outside of Christ. Like, this isn't worth it. Like, this isn't fulfilling. And so it was kind of then that maybe the dimmer switch went to a light switch, and it was like, yes, like we're changing. Like, we're not, we're pursuing Christ because it's really who we are and who He's called me to be, and not just something that because I'm in the South and I go to church.
Pilgrim's Progress is a
great book.
Beautiful analogy of this great book, because it's it kind of shows the progressive work of God in the life of a Christian.
Yeah.
God can save someone like the thief on the cross, promise him eternal life from the Son of God himself, and say, you'll be with me today in paradise. You're good because you've trusted in me, because I've paid the debt and finished the work here.
Yeah.
But God can also save an 8-year-old, regenerate that heart, and then over a lifetime of this journey, bring light into new areas of darkness and be like aha moments all the time. And it can be like, well, why didn't I know that before? Is this like the first time? But that's just the Lord's working us.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, which, by the way, have you ever heard that Alistair Begg, like 3 minutes?
We talked about it the other day.
Did you really?
It's so good.
Okay. I think I listened to that last night, and I'm like,
Cross
the
of
man,
Christ.
yeah, the man in the middle said I could
was
come
pretty
in.
good,
And
boy.
I'm like, that was really good.
Just got to roll the R's.
And, but just,
Good Scottish lad.
I can't.
I can't do
I
it.
can't
I'm
do
not going
it.
to try. I appreciate
Yeah, I'm not
it.
even going to try. Yeah, so I mean, it's, for me, it was a dimmer switch early on in life, like I said, and then kind of getting a little bit older, it was a light switch of like, man, this is the life I want to lead. This is who I am. This is, I know beyond the shadow of a doubt what the Lord did for me through his grace and how he pursued me and chose me. I'm living for him. And there's nothing else I want to do.
Just as a potential thought, I might be wrong here, but I mean, I know I've at least read biographies of, heard interviews from, or have met quite a few people that never were in church, did not have any Christian background whatsoever, were converted and came to faith in their 20s, 30s, or 40s. And I think a lot of times the speed at which that life change happens is because there's such a paradigm shift. As someone born into a Christian family, and this is a gift of grace. I mean, this is a foundation that it will not be shaken. Is I knew all those things from the time I could make sense of anything that was taught to me, because of the church I was in, because of my parents, because of my upbringing, and so it's kind of it can become normative, and the Holy Spirit will just give you these moments of illumination where it's like, oh, this is true.
Yeah.
Like this is like, I know this is true, but this is what it looks like in reality.
Yeah. Well, even like our kids.
I have a gnat. It's been flying this whole time. Sorry.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, that's right. This is alive.
I've just been like, I feel like my eyes are like darting all over
Well, I
the
felt
place.
like I felt it on my arm. I was like, maybe that's
He's
just the
dead
cord.
now. Okay.
But Ashley and I, which I haven't started talking about her, but Ashley and I, we talk about that all the time with our kids of like, they have the head knowledge. Almost all, thank the Lord, like even our 5-year-old, like he knows what Jesus did on the cross. Like he knows that he rose. He knows that he saves us from our sins. But does he really know? Like he's got the head knowledge, but I don't know if he has the heart knowledge. Right.
Yeah.
Is it a relationship? Or does he know it just because it pleases mom and dad when I answer the correct way?
Yeah.
And so that's something that we're constantly talking about, and trying to just judge the fruit of our kids, to where if they really know what they're what they're talking about. So
Yeah.
that's a good point.
So in this moment where as we've kind of used the dimmer, the light has flipped, were you living in a way in college to where your friends didn't really change at this point? You kind of were still that good guy, but then you have a flip of a switch that now you're just going to actually start living the way people thought you were living, or did life really change from that moment in college?
Life changed.
Okay.
So I think the friends that I would have that would like to go. I mean, Athens is full of.
Oh, it's full of bars.
Yeah. So those friends no longer wanted me to hang out with them anymore, and so I mean I had to. Yeah, this is my senior year. So in springtime, my senior year. So I just was kind of, hey, I'm kind of done with it. I'm not worried about it. They didn't call me anymore, right? So how much of friends were we really, And so I would say that my friend group changed, and really, what also sparked a lot of this for me, and just realizing that God's faithfulness and everything, was I was literally going into that, didn't know what I wanted to do, knew that I studied. I got a Bachelor's of Science in Agriculture with an emphasis in turf management and a minor in horticulture.
Wow,
and,
you're a grass guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
would not have guessed that.
yeah. And now I sell stair lifts, which we'll talk about, and gym memberships. And but I was just praying about what to do. Like, hey, Lord, I need you to knock me upside the head. Like, I'm not that smart, and I don't want to choose my own way for my life, and I need you to choose my way for me. And so literally I'm sitting there. I think I was kneeling. I won't say sitting, but I was kneeling on my bed, or kneeling up to my bed and praying, hey, I have this opportunity where I can go and sell sod and be like a traveling sod salesman, and or I can go and work for this company called Let's Go. And so I'm going back and forth because I was like, I really like talking to people now, and I build these relationships. And I kid you not, I'm sitting there praying about this, and my cell phone rings. And I walk over there. I'm like, well, that kind of caught me off guard, broke me out of the spirit. And I walk over there, and I answer it. And there's a guy from Let's Go on the other end of the line. He's like, hey, Derek, can't talk right now, but just wanted to see if you're ready, if you could talk in 10 minutes. And then he says, all right, thanks so much, bye. And he hangs up. And I'm like, whoa.
Was that guy?
Okay, yeah, exactly. I'm like, thank you,
All right.
And I took it as that. And so I ended up going to work for Let's Go after.
What did Let's Go do?
So Let's Go sold fertilizers, herbicides, fungicides, insecticides. Like, instead of working...
Cancer.
Yeah, well, you could say that. And I will not say that. But so instead of being like actually in the green industry at people's houses, applying all this stuff, I was the guy selling it to the people who were doing that. So I was selling to golf courses and to landscapers. And did that for 3 years.
Quick pause.
Yeah.
Do you have any athletic background going into college? I mean, you're 6'6", you're strong as an ox now. I don't know what you were then, but like any
I didn't even pay
athletics?
him to say that, but I appreciate it.
I mean, you own a gym. You got it. It kind of comes with the territory. I'm glad that
He
you're
actually put on all that muscle after starting the gym.
Wow. Well, I do know kind of he basically was like, I was a wimp, I was a stick, and I wanted to get strong. So he started going to Iron Tribe in Birmingham.
Yeah, I got tired of people calling me skinny.
Yeah.
I was 6'6", 185.
Yeah. Not the case anymore. Yeah. I've seen Derek
So
lift.
now I've fluctuated.
So I'm assuming
but
like
now I'm like 220.
in high school, you could have
225.
been like a complete bozo. You could have been like 6'6", 120 for all I know.
So so that's a great question. So I would like to say that I was an athlete growing up.
Okay.
I think I played every single sport.
Okay,
Soccer,
good.
football, baseball, basketball. But basketball and baseball were my two main ones. But I was 5'9", 135 pounds as a freshman in high school.
Wow. Would not have guessed that.
And the reason why that sticks out is because when I was a junior and I'd hit my growth spurt and I was about 6'3", 6'4", my history teacher was the freshman basketball coach. And first off, super dry sense of humor. He still cracks me up, but completely side note, but he's calling roll, and he calls this girl's name Wendy with a Y or an I. And she raises her hand, she goes, it's a Y. And he goes, because I want to know. And I start laughing. Like, I'm the only one that's laughing. And nevertheless, Coach Gorsuch. And but he, in front of all the class, first day of school, he's like, Derek, go ahead and stand up. So I stand up, and he goes, would y'all believe that Derek was 5'9", 135 pounds as a freshman? I'm like, thanks
Thank you,
Coach. I'll take my seat now. And so played basketball all through high school. So I was I was a point guard on the freshman basketball team, and then graduated as the starting center on the varsity basketball team.
Yeah, you don't get to be point guard long.
That's awesome.
No. And so I'd always kind of had a little bit of dribbling skills because I had to then, and as I grew, it just never really left me. And then played baseball through my sophomore year until I just...
You weren't a lefty pitcher because you'd be in the MLB right now.
Yeah, I wasn't a lefty pitcher or a first baseman,
okay.
And so I stopped playing baseball in my sophomore year of high school. So
cool.
So I'd like to think that I was a former athlete.
Yeah. No, that
maybe
counts.
still an athlete.
That counts. You
still
are
an athlete. Yeah.
Different athlete now.
Yeah, different athlete now. So.
All right, so you take this job.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
So I take this job, and here's why sometimes the Lord doesn't do this for everybody, but I think when the Lord gives you a direction, and it's a direction that you're praying for, like you got to, when you have that prayer and you ask for direction, like you got to be okay with the result, even if it's no or if it's go. And so for me, it was, I took that as I need to go. And so I go to work for Lesco, and the setup is two people. You got the branch manager and the assistant branch manager. And then the guy that I go to work for, his name was Don Finch. And Don smoked, drank, foul language, like all of that. And I'm like, and I get selected to work with him. And I'm going, really? Like, really, Lord? And so we start, this is when you heard the saying about just living the Christian life. Like, so that's all I'm trying to do. Like, I make it very obvious that I go to church on Sunday morning and I have a relationship with Jesus, and we went on some mission trips. And so we start having this spiritual conversation, Don and I do. And he ends up having a liver transplant, so he has to quit drinking, quit smoking, has a liver transplant. I end up going and spending the night on his couch for like a week, just in case something happened in the middle of the night after his liver transplant. And Don has since passed. I'll actually be going to his funeral this Saturday.
Whoa, sorry.
Yeah, and but I say that to say, because I've had more conversations with people about this, and my brother knew him because my brother's in the landscaping industry. And Don said something to David while David was over there mowing his yard. He called him up on the porch and he said, "David, is it real? Is it real what Derek talks about?" And because I that means everything, if it is. And so David, explains, yes, it is. And so Don ends up starting to come to church. Don gets baptized. All these things completely changes his life. But the past few years, he's had dialysis 3 times a week. And so it finally just, essentially the life that he had lived before caught up to him. And he would say that. And so then you look back, right? You get older like me, and you can look back on your life and be like, that's why I got the phone call. The Lord wanted to use me through this job and through this opportunity to witness to Don. And so, like, as much as sometimes, I would grumble when his Marlboro smoke would blow my way, it's like, I'd do it again, any day of the week.
That's
so
awesome.
So anyway, that's kind of how I got to Lesco after college, and just kind of the way the Lord answers prayers.
That reminds me of the conversation, I guess when this comes out, it would have been the last episode that we just did with Josh, just kind of about the beauty of being able to look back on our life and see the Lord's faithfulness and clearly see how he has been sovereign over all of that every step of the way. And you can't see it in every moment. Yeah. Sometimes it takes years to be able to look back and see that, but it never fails that as you look back, you see him working so clearly.
And I think that's where, age comes into play, right? Gray hair is wisdom. And I've got more and more coming in. But being able to do that and look back at your life, it should, in a lot of people, build on your relationship with the Lord, strengthen your relationship with the Lord, to realize, and I had somebody tell me one time, and again, praying through different opportunities, it was like, no, Derek, like when you hear the Lord answer, and he does answer your prayers, like take that, hold on to that, write those down, because sometimes you'll forget them, but then when you're 3 years down the road and the sales aren't coming, or the business isn't what you wanted it to be, you need to be able to look back on your answered prayers that you wrote down and say, no. Like the Lord told me to do this. Like he directed me here, and he's faithful, and he'll see me through it.
Amen.
Yeah, that's good.
So
let's go.
Yeah. So from there,
at this point, you're still early 20s, mid 20s.
Yeah. At this point, I'm.
How long did you work at Let's Go?
Right at 3 years.
Okay, so it gets you like 25ish.
Yeah. So right at
married.
Not at the time. Okay. So Ashley and I. So let's talk about that. So Ashley and I have known each other since we were 11 years old. And little fun fact, icebreaker question that some people don't like is we're the exact same age. So
same day,
same year. And
wow. Born in the same hospital?
No. She's actually a Texas girl. So for the longest time growing up,
who's older?
And we'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
My wife is also a Texas
there.
Girl.
Yeah,
good choice.
And whereabouts?
My wife is also a Texas.
Yeah,
girl.
what city?
Houston.
Okay.
Texas is a big state.
Yeah, a big country.
It's a big country.
Ashley was born in Fort Worth, but for the longest time, we thought that I was like 8 hours older. And she would always joke that, yeah, I prayed to marry an older guy, and look how the Lord answered my prayers. And then all of a sudden it dawned on us, I think we'd already started dating. And then when my dad brought it up, he's like, hey, you were born in Central Time. He was born, he's actually 9 hours older. So, like my percentage of being older has vastly increased. But we met at the age of 11. She actually moved in about 3 doors down from my best friend growing up. And so the first, I think, week that they had moved to town, my best friend's mom, in a good Southern way, I think, took some cookies down to the new people's house and introduced themselves, and she invited them to come to church. And so we met on a youth retreat going to Stone Mountain there in Georgia. And I would like to say the rest is history, but it's not. Again, I was super quiet, didn't talk very much, and so I would say from 11, like we would always talk and see each other at church, and then as we got older, we would text and do all those things on birthdays and whatnot. But we didn't start dating until we were 20. I was 26.
Wow.
When we first started dating. And
was there any interest in that time period?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, yes.
It just took a while to.
Yes, and kind of how this tangles in is she was a meteorologist, an on-air meteorologist for almost 18 years, and so she was from Montgomery. Then she got a job in Atlanta. Then she got a job back in Montgomery, and then she went to Birmingham. And then during that time, I had started working with Chick-fil-A, which we can jump back to that. But I started working with Chick-fil-A, and she got a job in Atlanta, and so we reconnected. And she had some crazy hours just doing the weather that she does, and I had crazy hours because I was trying to learn everything that I could about running a Chick-fil-A restaurant. So we'd be there at 3:30 in the morning making biscuits, for a big, $400 or 400 biscuit purchase that needed to go out. And so I can still remember some days like just waving at her through the drive-through window. And she's like going to 11 Live, at 3:30 in the morning, and I'm in Chick-fil-A making biscuits.
I hate that Brock is missing this one. I don't know if he knew when we scheduled this that you had the Chick-fil-A connection. Brock is like the ultimate Chick-fil-A fanboy.
Is he?
Like entrepreneur at heart, loves the idea of Chick-fil-A. He's like his favorite book, one of his favorite books of all time is Covert Cows. Mm-hmm. Like just a huge Chick-fil-A guy.
Really?
Massive Chick-fil-A guy. I mean, Brock just loves Chick-fil-A.
I love that.
Massive guy.
That's cool.
Massive Chick-fil-A.
I didn't know that. That's new to me.
I love that. Well,
what's the book
I'll connect up with Brock.
What's the book Truett wrote? It's like, I'm sure he loves that book. It's got a catchy tagline.
How'd you do it, Truett? That's one of them.
Okay.
I haven't read
He's written a few of them.
Okay.
Covert Cows is the one that got him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay.
But
which I don't know who wrote that.
Talking about that, how'd I get involved with Chick-fil-A? Well, so Don and I been there 3 years, just kind of realizing like, hey, I think my time has kind of come to an end. And really that was almost the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, because I had reached out to the area manager and I was like, hey, I'd love to move up, have some more responsibility. And it was like, well, you need to go spend 3 more years at a different location for the potential. And I'm going, no, like part of me now is going, I want to be able to control my own destiny as much as you can control your own destiny. And so it was
Can I pause you here? I'm sorry. We keep pausing, but this is what we do sometimes.
That's all right.
I'd love to hear you speak on this if you can, and you may be wrestling with yourself, but this is a thought that I, in my wise, ripe old age of 27, have been wrestling with a lot. And we've had multiple guests. A lot of our entrepreneur guests kind of say that same thing. I kind of wrestle with, like, is it sinful to have such a desire for control? Or is it okay? Because I feel like that is a common thing that you hear multiple entrepreneurs say, but even when we've interviewed entrepreneurs, like they all have said, one of the most important things to me was control. And in my life, one of the biggest challenges of my life and where the Lord has sanctified me the most is my desire for control. Yeah. So I kind of wrestle with that one. Yeah. Does that make sense at all, what I'm asking?
It's a great question.
I think, it's a terrific question. And to me, I would answer that is, like, where does your desire for control lie? Right? Yeah. Like, I personally wanted to say, hey, if I work this hard, I'll be able to provide for my family. Or if I'm, I don't know. I wanted to go out and pursue things and try things and for me, it was more of like a time schedule as well. It was, hey, where can I go and not have anybody else kind of be my ceiling? And so that was the kind of control that I guess I would think about is the effort that I put in. I wanted the reward, if you will, to be there for that. And does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
So like, I don't know. To me, I never thought of it as, oh man, I want to just have control of my life, because ultimately you don't. Like, I'll use that word, but ultimately the Lord could crash Iron Tribe tomorrow. It could shut down 101 Mobility tomorrow. We could have the whole staff leave. Now where's your control, Derek? You know, like, so ultimately, like, I don't have control in that regards. Yeah. So that kind of makes sense?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I still kind of wrestle with it in my own heart, but that makes sense for your answer for sure.
Yeah. You going to say something?
No. I just, I'm not, he's the expert here because he's an entrepreneur. But I think that inclination in us is driven, you could pursue that and know that the ultimate control of whether this succeeds or fails is in the Lord's hands.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good desire that a passive person versus a leadership-driven person, just in spiritual gifting, in personality traits, in upbringing. Like, I would rather, when I get into a group of people and everybody's kind of like pitter and patter and trying to figure out what to do, like, my God-given instinct is to go, here's a plan, let's do this. And so I want that control, but it's not like it's like a sanctified version of, it's not like do it because I can't handle it if I'm not in control. Like, it's been great for me to be an employee in my new career. It's been a good challenge for me to learn to submit, but it's still in me to like want to lead from the front. And so I think that's the control is like,
yeah. And I would almost say as much as I would say that, and that's what drove me to it. Now I would almost say maybe I don't have that control anymore, because I'm not the one leading the classes at Iron Tribe. I'm not the one that's making the sales in our Birmingham-based business. So like I'm not there driving the business. So one could say I don't have control anymore. And so that, yeah, but that was just at the time, that was me going, okay, you're telling me I can't do something because I got to go work somewhere else for 3 years in a bigger location before I have the potential opportunity to advance. I'm going, no. I'll go make my own way. Yeah. And
I'll bet on my own work ethic.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I didn't even know. So I was, again, 20, 24, 25. Like, I wasn't even pursuing this lifestyle at the time. Like, I didn't really even think that. I just knew that this desire inside of me is maybe made for more, if you will. And so at the time, I was just speaking with my dad and just kind of wrestling with this of, he knew I was going to have that conversation. Here was the answer. And it's like, I don't know, Dad. Like, I don't know if this is the path for me anymore. Again, kind of going back to, is this what I want to do for 40 more years? And because I'm so young at the time. And he goes, well, he's the one that actually brought it up. He goes, have you ever thought about Chick-fil-A and doing what Scott does? And Scott's the local owner there. And I was like, no, not really. And he's like, well, I think you should. Let's just go talk to him. He's always at the high school football games. He's there. He interacts with people, kind of gregarious. And so I said, okay. And I said, well, obviously you're going to pray about it, right? And so I had 3 prayer requests. I wanted it to be different but the same, because at Let's Go, I saw 20 to 30 people a day. And so it just wasn't that much. And so my second prayer request was I wanted it to involve a lot of people. And and the different but the same was like I didn't want to travel at the time. I wanted to go into a location and kind of be there. And then the third thing was I wanted to meet a girl. Like, just throwing that out there. And I kid you not, I go and I sit down with Scott, and I think I had some facial hair, and at the time you couldn't have facial hair at Chick-fil-A, so I shaved it off and went and sat and talked with him. And I literally said, hey, Scott, so what is it that you love about being an operator? He goes, man, he said, I get to come to the same location every single day, but there's different team members here, so the culture is always different. He's like, so it's almost like I come to the same place, but it's completely different every single day. And I'm like, And then he goes, and also he's like, it's super busy. Like I'm constantly, like we have 1,000 customers a day. So I'm constantly interacting with people. Like there's never a slow time. And I'm going, huh. And then
at this point, you've said a few times that you had been relatively reserved and quiet. At this point, you've found your voice and everything.
I found my voice.
You're ready to roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
At this time, I had.
Okay.
Completely side note, but like, yeah, I'd started teaching at church, and we actually, me and a couple other people, started like a youth group at the church because we just didn't have one. And but then the third thing was he goes, and you're not dating anybody, right? And I'm like, kind of personal, but no, I'm not. And he goes, oh, well, at the previous Chick-fil-A owners meeting, there was a question that was asked of how many people met their spouses through Chick-fil-A, and about 50% of the people raised their hand. Maybe you'll meet somebody. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is literally 3 minutes into our interview, and I'm like, I literally look down and I go, this is kind of over. Like I'm gonna ask if I can come work for him, and I sat there for another hour, and it was gracious. And but that's how I started working. So then I ended up working for him 1 or 2 nights a week and all day on Saturdays while still doing the John Deere thing, and just to make sure like this is what I wanted to do. And so I did that for about 6 months, and then before. At the time, they had, Scott was trying to get a second.
Are you just
location.
like taking orders? Are you working the drive-through?
I'm squeezing lemons. I'm filleting chicken. I'm doing
all the above.
All of the above. And
my pleasure.
Oh yeah, I had to learn that. And there was actually a time point where I think I'd been working there maybe a week. It wasn't that long, and I'm in the polo because I'm not wearing the tie because I'm just starting. And I go up to the front and I'm taking orders. And I see a friend from high school come in, and I'm like, and I kid you not, I booked it to the back. And I'm like, I'm gonna have a 4-year degree. I've been outside of college for this long, and I'm gonna sit here and take somebody's order. Because mind you, I didn't tell you this, but like this Chick-fil-A is directly across the street from my high school that I grew up in. And so there was this like panic / embarrassed moment of me being there, and I'm behind the swinging door, and I kind of have like this pep talk with myself, and I'm like, no, I'm going places. Like this is where the Lord wants me. Going back to what we said a few minutes ago, like the Lord answered my prayers to be here. So then I think I kind of, and I walked back through that door and said, "Hey" to
all
him.
160 pounds of you.
Yeah. And so I walked back through and take his order, and it was from that point on that it didn't bother me that I was across the street taking orders, working at a quick service restaurant, and did that for almost 2 years. Now, while I'm doing that and in that position is when Ashley got her job at 11 Alive News.
I can't let this pass by. That was such good former business owner. Quick service restaurant, not fast food.
Yeah.
Quick service restaurant.
Right
did you notice that?
I caught it. I did.
I didn't let it slide.
Yeah, that was good.
And the agriculture in me will say it's soil, not dirt as well, by the way. And but that's about the time that like Ashley and I got reconnected. So I'm there and I'm working. She comes back into town. She still doesn't know why, but she said when she realized that she was going to get the opportunity back in Atlanta, that I was actually the first person that kind of crossed her mind to reach out to and kind of reconnect up with.
Yeah.
And so we start talking and dating and so I'm there at that restaurant for about 2 years, and then I get into a program interview for
2 years of the part-time thing, or you eventually decided I'm going full-time?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. It was about 6 months of the part-time thing, and then I let Lesko know that, hey, this is what I'm going to be pursuing. I thoroughly enjoy this. I see a future here. And so I ended up leaving then, going to work full-time for them. And by full-time, I mean, it was 55, 60 hours a week. I mean, it was, you were putting it in. And but learning the whole time. Mm-hmm. And Chick-fil-A has such a great leadership structure and training. And, I mean, it's just all systemized, and it's processes, and it's all of that. And it's fantastic. And even being there, again, just kind of looking back and seeing the Lord's hand on stuff, like I was young. I mean, I was in my mid-20s, and I'm working there, and Scott's wanting to have a second location, so he's trying to bring in some leaders that he can rely on and help him get to that. But all the while, he knows that I want to be an operator, and so he's constantly bringing people in from the home office to meet with us, usually once or twice a month at our leadership meetings. He would bring somebody in and meet. And then I would even go down to the Chick-fil-A corporate office once a month, and I would meet with somebody. I would just reach out to a business consultant and meet with them and just try to build that relationship. And And so I end up getting into a program called Interim Management Program, which they don't have anymore. Well, they do. They just call it something different. And I remember getting a buddy of mine. We were kind of pursuing this together. He gets a call, and it's during lunch, and he looks at it and he's like, "Hey, this is, and he says the guy's name, but and I'm like, oh man, and he puts it in his pocket. He keeps taking orders, and that same guy calls me, and I'm like, I gotta go take this. And so I go to the back, and he the first thing he says is, "What are you doing answering the phone? It's lunchtime." I'm like, "I'm so sorry, but you called Jeff, and I had to answer now." And basically but then he asked me, he's like, "Hey, we want you and Jeff to be in this program." And I was like, "Oh, great. When's the interview?" And he goes, "No, like the past 2 years has been an interview with you. Like, but with us coming to the store and you coming down here, like you're in." And it was that program that actually took me out to California, living out there. And then, so the way that it kind of works is, you
never know when you're being interviewed.
Oh,
everyone. Especially if you're young, every interaction, every conversation,
absolutely,
the way you treat people, you never know.
Let me tell you this. This brings up another thing. So I also did like a brief 3-month stint at the home office with Chick-fil-A, and this goes back to today's day and age with cell phones. I would say the cell phones were first starting, back in this time. But I remember distinctly walking down the hallway, working, answering an email, but like I'm on my phone like this, and I had somebody pull me off to the side to kind of put his hand on me, and he goes, super nice, but also super direct. He goes, "Don't walk through these halls on your cell phone anymore." And I'm like, kind of taken back a little bit. And he goes, "Derek," because you have a name tag on, so it's not like he knew my name, but he said, "Derek, you never know who you're going to meet or a conversation that you're going to miss if your head is in your phone." And I'm like,
bingo.
That is such
it's the most Chick-fil-A comment I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, but it is, and 20-something years later, I still remember it, and I'll share that with Lakeview youth and everything else that I kind of interact with my own kids, and even try to do that in my own life of, if I have to do something on my phone, I'll answer it sitting there, then I'll put it in my pocket if I get up and I go and walk. And yeah, it's definitely the most Chick-fil-A thing, but it's also so true.
100%.
And so anyway, Chick-fil-A, then that little brief stint took me out west and kind of ran my own Chick-fil-A there underneath their umbrella.
Ashley go with you?
No, so great question. And so Ashley and I had a season of growth during that time. That's what we call it now. And because at that same time, the Lord called her to Montgomery, so she became the chief meteorologist at a TV station in Montgomery. So, like, props to her. She was the first female chief in the state of Alabama. Also the youngest, because she was in her mid-20s. But, yeah, she was the first female chief in the state of Alabama for a TV station. So
I don't want to go down. I do want to go down the rabbit hole, but we're not going to. But I would love to just hear like how someone decides to become a meteorologist. I think that's so unique. But I don't want to do it because we have so many rabbit holes with yours. Maybe another night.
Okay, maybe another night.
But it is intriguing to me.
I want a job where I can be right 10% of the time, and they'll still pay me, and I'm very professional. I got good
Be
benefits.
a sports analyst if you want that job.
Yeah, right.
There was actually a study
There's
done.
a 10% chance it's going to rain today.
There was a we'll
We
chase
love
it. We'll
Ashley.
chase
I'm
it for a
just
second.
Okay.
But there was a study done where like meteorologists are actually like 90% right when it comes like when it's going to rain or what time and
I'm
all
making
that.
a joke.
Yeah.
Meteorology
but
is
it's
fascinating.
But it's wild the perception that they get.
Yeah.
And it's like literally like, hey, how's your March bracket doing? Like you want to, you're wrong more than 50% of the time,
Think about it when it's like the forecast is right. And it's like, there's going to be this line of storms at this time, 7 days from now with this effect and this thing. And then it happens. You're like, how'd you know that?
Well, we are going to chase it for just a second. But I was in California.
You're the guest. You take us where you want to go.
We'll just talk about that. Like I was in California though, April 27th, 2011, the tornadoes that came through. I was in California. Ashley and I were back together. We were pursuing marriage from a distance. And on Saturday, the Saturday before that, like she's telling me like, hey, I'm gonna be removed on Tuesday, and I think that people aren't gonna listen to our forecast like they should, and it's gonna be a bad day, and people are probably going to die. And now she's 72 hours out, but like they already knew that far in advance that like, hey, this is coming. And then she was on it.
Which tornadoes is this?
The Tuscaloosa ones, right?
Yeah, the Tuscaloosa ones. There was like 140 tornadoes at or different touchdowns in Alabama that day.
But it's the one that really got Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
I was in school during that time.
Yeah, and dang, calling me that old.
Mm-hmm. You were out working.
Yeah, I was out working. You were still in school.
I was finishing junior year.
But yeah, she was on air. She was on air for 16 hours straight. During that time. I mean, just amazing what that profession and her but just that profession, what they do to keep people safe. Which again, the Lord's sovereignty wraps it back into the role that she has at Auburn University right now is crisis communication, and she's helping keep people calm during a crisis. And she was told that one of the number one fears for parents of students who are here that live out of state is severe weather.
Interesting.
So it's just like, well, thank you, Jesus.
Got some experience.
It's almost like you had that planned. Yeah. And so where were we? California, Chick-fil-A. And
what part of California did you say?
So I lived in Hermosa Beach, so like the South Bay area, Hermosa Beach, Redondo Beach, Manhattan Beach. So I lived right there, and then
because California to me is, it's the most diverse state as far as like the difference between living in South California. It's different.
And then I moved to Orange County, California.
He's the only person
Beach.
I've ever heard it referred to as South.
Well,
California.
I totally, as I said it, I was like, nobody calls it. I literally had that thought.
Okay,
I was thinking
I'm
it's
just
Southern California.
That makes me feel better. You had that thought because
sometimes when your
it's
brains
called
go.
SoCal.
It's called SoCal and NorCal.
I was saying it. I was like, that's not right.
You live down there in South California.
But you are right though. It's then the restaurant they ended up owning was in Newport Beach, California. So in Orange County. So kind of one of the sole like red counties, if you will, in California. And but I was out there running a restaurant for about 2 months before Chick-fil-A called me and said they had an opportunity in Newport Beach if I was willing to apply for it and take it. And so then was able to.
So when you went out there with Chick-fil-A, it was to an existing location.
It was to an existing location. So the way that program worked was if an owner was leaving to go to another location, these interim managers would come in and run the restaurant until a new owner came in.
Yeah.
But the restaurant that I got selected for was actually a brand new start. So it was from the ground up in Fashion Island, Newport Beach.
I'm blanking on the terminology. Solo building built from the ground up, or did it move into was it a mall or a strip center or like a?
So Fashion Island, they would call it a destination out there, but it's essentially an outdoor large mall area is where we were. So we were inside there. We weren't like a freestanding unit outside.
Okay.
And but did that for, I don't mean to skip over it, but did that for a few years. And as I mentioned, Ashley and I were talking and reconnecting, realized that like, hey, we're meant to be together, and we need to find a way to make this work. And so I was able to talk with Chick-fil-A and the guy who's the area manager there, and he already kind of knew our story. And
did you crush it?
I would like to say that I did the best that I could. Yes. And so California was, we were in an area where there wasn't any Chick-fil-A's. So like the brand awareness wasn't that big. We were also there. Y'all remember, you might, the Chick-fil-A day? Like Mike Huckabee had like this, Dan Cathy said something about, how he believes in biblical marriage, and now people are revolting against Chick-fil-A. We need to have a Chick-fil-A day. And that was like 2 weeks after we opened. And we were everybody sold out of chicken and fries. And I think there was 4 or 5 of us that were in our cars or trucks at the warehouse trying to get French fries and chicken just to be open that day. And so yeah, I would say that we crushed it.
Good.
But it was also very different because the view out there of chicken sandwiches and the view here is just kind of different. And so we were on the forefront of that. I think we were like the 52nd Chick-fil-A restaurant that was opened in California.
Okay.
So, not that there wasn't that many in a state that big with that many people.
Did you know there are now Chick-fil-A's in Northern Ireland?
I did. Have not visited it yet, though.
You know why that is? From what I've heard in the story, somebody over there just completely knocked off the concept. Same name, same font, same color scheme, same concept, chicken. And so in order to pursue legal action, Chick-fil-A had to become an entity in Northern Ireland. And now there are 2 Chick-fil-A's that me and Russell passed when I was at the Open last summer.
Love it.
On the road up to Port Rush. And they're just...
You didn't want to swing in?
Well,
and just to see?
The first... I want to say both. They didn't open until 11. They don't do breakfast over there.
Okay. That would make sense.
And I want to... We left the airport early, and then... Yeah, I think both directions I was going by during breakfast hours. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to stop just to say I'd done it, but they weren't open. But it's just kind of funny.
Did the other one get to stay open?
No, they were able to take legal action and shut them down. But it was... They had to have, like, the trademark in the country or something.
That makes sense.
So they're international.
That's fascinating to me. I would have thought that if a business in another country wanted to do it, they could do it. Like, it doesn't seem like that would carry over internationally.
Yeah.
In my head.
Well, I guess in a sense it didn't, which is why they were like, we can't let them just do this.
Right, but I would have thought that the one that is established there would have been the one that would have the rights there.
Oh, yeah.
I see what you mean.
Well,
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Rabbit trail.
Yeah, but it's international. I mean, Canada as well, but so.
Yeah. Which, and that, for me, that was, I left in 2014. So, it's been 12, we'll call it 13 years or so since I've been with them. So, so much has changed, at that company from when I was there and was trained.
You were an operator. You didn't get equity in the overall business?
I know, right? Nope. Not the way their structure is set up.
Nope. They said, oh, you want to move on? Okay, we still love it.
I got my deposit. I got my $5,000 deposit.
There you go. Good.
Here you go, Derek. And I'm like, thank you. And but that, and even that was a great God moment for me and for Ashley, because the business was doing fine. It was doing great. Ashley's this chief meteorologist. Like, we both had great careers. And so, like, well, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna get together? And so I proposed to her in October 5th of, and so then it was at that point that, hey, we're moving forward. The Lord's already kind of told us this. We realized we want to be together, and but we didn't know what after marriage really looked like at the time, because I was still out there and she was still here, and so we, but I also knew that, hey, I have this bend to create things, and their model, which is fantastic, and the leadership is fantastic, and all of that. Like, I realized that, hey, I might need something, something else. What are you gonna say? Isn't
there fun? Can you share the fun story about? Doesn't it involve Ashley how you got back with Dan one time?
Oh yeah. This is just good. So that's a wild story, and so again, it was the Chick-fil-A day. He said, hey, I believe in biblical marriage, husband and wife, and the way that kind of acted. So he kind of went around the different locations and was just sharing his story.
Dan Cathy, who at the time was CEO.
Yeah, and sharing his story of, like, hey, I just got done mowing the grass. I was sitting on my front porch. I was doing this interview, and still fully believe what I said, but maybe just didn't deliver it well. And so we come back, and we're there, and all the.
I love that Dan Cathy still mows his grass.
Yeah, which when you're in their training. When you're in their leadership training, like Dan Cathy, Bubba Cathy, Mark Miller, who's not there anymore, but a big leadership guru, like, they invite you over to their houses, and you have dinner at their house, and they cater it in, and they start like that hospitality from the very beginning. But
they're an unbelievable family.
Yeah, and got a tour of Dan Cathy's, like, huge barn and the cars and the tractors and all that. But so I'm in the back, and I'm talking with the lady who's there's a couple people that are traveling with him and assistants and stuff. So I'm talking with them, and I'm going, hey, where y'all heading after this? Just, again, I'll talk. And she's like, we're actually heading back to Atlanta. I go, oh, me too. I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm actually going to propose to my girlfriend tomorrow. And, or I guess this is Thursday. I was like, I'm going to propose to her on Saturday. And she looks at me and she goes, you want to come with us? And I go, yeah. And I'm in a program to where they paid for my plane tickets to go back home, and so it didn't really matter the change fee. But I said absolutely. And she goes okay, and she tells me when we leave and everything and where to be. And so I ended up going and getting on their private jet. And so it's like me and Dan, her, and then somebody else who's traveling with them, and then the pilots that are up there. And all of a sudden we take off, go. They go way up and fast. I mean, we made it to Atlanta faster than any commercial airline. But as we get close, Dan comes up to me and he goes, have you ever sat in a jump seat before when a plane lands? And I'm like, no. And he goes, come on. And so we walk up to the front of the plane, and I sit down in this little chair, and then Dan like grabs the seat belt and he's pulling it across me and he's buckling it in and tightening it up, and he's explaining to me everything about how we're going to land. And it was the most amazing experience flying back from SoCal to Atlanta.
Not South California.
Not South California, on the way to propose to my girlfriend.
Wow.
And,
But I mean, like, I know a few people within that family just through golf and ministry connections that I've made throughout the years. And that is just such a reflection of their genuine character. Like Dan Cathy, the CEO of Chick-fil-A, doing a media tour to just proclaim his stance on their company policy, meets an operator who's been with him for multiple years and is proposing to his girlfriend. And they're like, oh, just jump on the plane with us.
Come on.
And that's like their instinct.
Grab a ride.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They're so kind.
And
That's awesome.
They really are. And it also helped set the trajectory of how I wanted to own businesses.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, hey, you got to lead from the top. And the culture that I set is it's the culture that trickles down. I can't expect that culture to work its way up to me. And so I've tried to do that with the other businesses that we have. And so kind of jumping ahead a little bit. That was a good story. Thanks for bringing it up. But kind of jump ahead a little bit. Like as Ashley and I are leaning towards marriage and the date's getting closer. I mean, it's like February and we're getting married. I'm sorry, it's January. We're getting married the first part of March. And I still don't know if I'm staying in Chick-fil-A out west or what we're doing. And so again, go back to prayer, and we've already been praying, but I had 3 prayer requests, and I sit down and I talk with our area manager, and he, again, kind of like with Scott Reed, just checks them off without really any prompting.
I'm going to start doing lists of 3 prayer requests, really specific.
Well, and I had somebody tell me this when we just kind of growing up. It's like,
I'm kidding. We're not Christian mystics here. We don't follow the tea leaves.
Well, it's not like getting in the fleece, right? Like, hey, I'm going to test, the Bible says you should not test the Lord your God, right? Yeah. But it's also, the way that I looked at it was, like, I will make my own decision, Lord, but I need your guidance.
Yes.
And
that's how it works.
Yeah, and then that's how it works. And so and I think I prayed about what prayer requests that I should pray. So it's like this catch, it's both. And but for me, it was, I wanted it to be this guy's idea. I wanted him to bring it up that I should move back to Alabama to get married. And I want to have a good reputation with Chick-fil-A, and then even the potential to maybe come back in the future. And so through our conversation, he said yes to like all of those. And I'm going, all right. And we're going to make plans for me to transition this restaurant. And so then move back. And then, of course, you look back on it, and it's like, man, if I would have stayed with Chick-fil-A, my path would have left me in SoCal. Ashley would have left and come out there, and we'd be out there. We probably wouldn't have 4 kids. We
probably a surfer.
Yeah, probably a surfer. And never got asked if I played basketball out there. It was always, do you play beach volleyball? So it's a different sport, but different sport that you need height for. And but again, you look back, and I'm like, man, I wouldn't. A lot of people are like, oh man, you're a Chick-fil-A owner, don't you miss it? And I'm like, yeah, and we've talked about this with golf. Like, yeah, there's parts of it that sure you miss, but I wouldn't trade where I'm at for anything. Like, I would never go back. Yeah. And so
holy cow, did you just get a PhD in systematized processes to run a business well?
Yeah.
Good gracious.
Yeah. And but got married, moved to Montgomery, Alabama, which is where Ashley was. Went to work for
Newport Beach, Montgomery. South California.
South Alabama.
Southern Alabama. Sobama.
Yeah. And and again, the Lord kind of humbled me a little bit again, because I didn't have anything really lined up. So I go from owning a restaurant on a Friday to Monday, I'm working for an operator doing his night shift and closing his night shift.
So you stayed in the Chick-fil-A network.
So I stayed in the Chick-fil-A network because I didn't really have
again.
Yeah, I didn't really have anything to really quite lined up yet.
Yeah.
But I knew this is where I was supposed to be going. And we got married March 2nd, went on a honeymoon. I flew out to California, closed the restaurant down. End of March, I drove. My brother flew out to San Diego.
No one wanted to take that one over?
Well, they ended up taking it over, but it had that interim manager in there again. Okay.
Closing it down as in transitioning from your operatorship to
closing it.
Yeah, sorry.
I follow you.
Closing my tenure my tenure down.
He burned a Chick-fil-A to the ground.
Just burned it down. But closed my tenure down. You're not going to
let me take this.
And but my brother is funny. He flew into San Diego. I drove down to get him. He literally walks out of the airport, gets in my truck, and we start heading back east. So he spent all of 30 minutes in San Diego. But kind of to that point of systemizing and everything else, like I ended up going to work after working in Montgomery at the Chick-fil-A and leading night shift for about 4 months. I got a job at the North American Mission Board, and they told me, like, hey, if you've run a Chick-fil-A, like, we can teach you how to be a business analyst. And at that time, I'm like, I want to provide, like, our first kid. We gotten pregnant, and our first kid was coming, and but that drained me. Like, that's not my bend. And so about 9 months into that, Ashley gets promoted up to Birmingham. We move up to Birmingham. And by promoted, she's not the chief anymore in Montgomery, but she's now the morning meteorologist in a bigger market. Mm-hmm. And so we end up going up to Birmingham. So again, kind of thinking through, praying through, and I'm like, I would like to own a business again. And the whole time, like through all of the past 13 years that we've been married, like she's like the rock of it. Right, like she's the encourager, she's the promoter, she's the support, she's the bouncing ideas off of, she's the kick in the pants when I need it sometimes, and the shoulder as well when it's not going well, and so wives are like that, right? They help sanctify you and make you whole, and so we start talking about it, and we ended up getting introduced to a company called 101 Mobility, and 101 Mobility we help provide independence and freedom to people through accessibility equipment and for the elderly and the disabled. And so when we started thinking about and questioning like our passions in life of, hey man, we want to serve people. We want to have a positive impact on people. Like we want people to leave knowing us better, right? Not in a selfish way, but like that's just the impact that we feel like we've been called to. It was also partially Chick-fil-A. Like that's part of their motto. And so with 101 Mobility, we were able to do that. And so they're a franchise, and so we were able to get connected up with them in July 31st of 2017. We signed the contract and officially opened with them. So we're almost going into our 10th year with them. And so we do stair lifts, wheelchair ramps, elevators, patient lifts, all of that. And my brother came to work for me, so or work with us. He was a firefighter and a paramedic over in Georgia. Just had a couple kids. He's working 24 on, 48 off, mowing grass and doing landscaping on the side. So like working 7 days a week. And so I, approached him like, hey, we're looking at doing this, but you'd have to move to Birmingham. And so they ended up coming over, and we had this agreement of because I'm not that. I'm not handy-manny, like I can do a few things around the house, but he has a little bit more of a bent for that. And he told me, he's like, Derek, if you can sell it, I can install it. And I'm like, game on.
Deal.
Like, let's do this. And so we ended up opening it, and we within 3 months we were hiring people because we were growing, and really just, again, going back to what we talked about earlier and just kind of having that control. I felt like at some points we were out of control, but also like I controlled the sales process, the pricing. I was able to control how hard I worked, how hard everybody else worked, what sales we did do and didn't do. And so it was that kind of thing to where I could tweak it and felt like we could do that. And so the Lord was extremely faithful through that. We were blessed to win like Rookie of the Year within our national company. We've since, David won Technician of the Year. We had another person win Technician of the Year nationally. We won Franchise of the Year with that company. Wow. And so the past 9, I sit on the Franchise Advisory Council with that company. So it's be able to look back at at the Lord's faithfulness through that, and just trying to steward that well as much as possible. He's just been able to kind of open up doors for us where we're able to. And even again, talking about like Newport Beach to Montgomery, I went from like Chick-fil-A culture to a culture that's not quite like that. Let's just put it like that. And all terrific people, but it's just Whereas when we went on a Chick-fil-A cruise one year as owners, like the casino was turned off. Like nobody could go into the casino on the cruise ship. This company would have had the casino open, and so it was a great opportunity for me to put forth my faith in who I believe in and the standards that we have, and so just it's opened up so many doors for conversations, and it's just been terrific. So that's how we got started with that. And with 101 Mobility.
What were the challenges of that? I mean, I know it's similar franchise, doing the Chick-fil-A and operator, all that. I know there's similarities, but what were the actual challenges of starting a business or franchising a business?
Yeah, a couple of the big challenges were there wasn't a name recognition, right? So we couldn't just open up the doors, and everybody knew what Chick-fil-A was. Nobody really knew what 101 Mobility was. Like we're still the only location in Alabama. There's 60 plus owners nationally now. So that was kind of a struggle to be able to get our name out there and kind of build a brand. The plus side is that nobody really knows where to buy a stair lift. So you Google it. Right? And then we worked hard to have our SEOs up to date and front page and top of the page and all of that. And then another thing that was kind of difficult was it was 98% new sales, like maybe 2% returning customers. We're unlike a restaurant business where we'd have people come daily, or at least multiple times a week, and it was just the rhythm of their life that they would come and visit you. Mm-hmm. We were impacting people in a rhythm of their life where they didn't want us, if that makes sense. Elevators, sure, maybe a little bit, but most people don't want a stair lift. They don't want a wheelchair ramp because they have to either realize that, hey, I'm older than I think I am. Or I'm not as agile and mobile as I think I am. And so there's a delicacy to even having those conversations with people. Mm-hmm. So, that was probably some of the harder parts. And then, but it was a great time looking back on it. It was hard. We had 2 kids at the time. We were living in Birmingham. Ashley was doing, she was doing the morning, the morning, and then she got moved up to the evening. But during the morning time, like I would get the kids up and get ready for work, and we'd watch mommy on TV, and then she'd be able to pick them up after school and play with them. And then I would get off about 5 and put everybody to bed because she would go to bed early. And then I would work from 8:30, 9 o'clock till 11:30, finishing proposals or follow-up emails or whatever, because in that business is just a lot of windshield time. Mm-hmm. And so, it was 10, 11-hour days easy for 6 months at least, just trying to get that thing up and off the ground. So it was, but you look back on it and you're like, I wouldn't trade it. I'd do it all over again. Like it was fun to build something like that, something that you knew you were called to do and stepping into it. So
is this a good time to kind of explain about the multiple living situations?
Yeah, let's do that. So during this time, we had started this. We moved to Birmingham, great neighborhood, but then our kids started to go to a Montessori school, and which we loved Montessori schools. And so we realized that at the base of the little hill was where our office was. And so we sold that house, moved over into a new neighborhood where I could walk the kids to school, and we could walk home from school, and I could drive right down. And the route to work for Ashley was 23 minutes, like either direction. So we lived in that house, moved to another one. We were about a year and a half into that one. We had a water leak in our upstairs master bath. So we used that insurance money to do that. We were already saving up to finish the kitchen. And that's about the time we turned into accidental house flippers. So we realized that, hey, now that we updated this and we updated this, could sell this thing. We had a real estate friend who's like, and we can sell this for a nice premium. So we start doing that. We put it on the market, and COVID hits, and we're like, we're just going to push through. Like, it's fine. Like, we don't know about this, but it keeps getting delayed. We made offers on 2 or 3 houses, delayed, and then finally we ended up selling that house with nowhere to go. And but at the time we had a fifth wheel, a travel trailer, and so we ended up selling that house and moved into our fifth wheel travel trailer. And we had 3 kids at this time. And
my brother, Shane, shout out. is currently living in a fifth wheel,
Oh.
and they love it.
Oh, we loved it.
How many kids does Shane have?
3.
We loved it.
No.
You don't know how many kids
You
your
don't
brother
know.
has?
2. I got multiple siblings. I had to count.
Is there one on the way that we should know
I
about?
had to count all the cousins. They have 2,
Yeah.
Reese and Stetson, and they
Great names.
sold their house, made a great profit, and they're like, Brooke, my sister-in-law's family, has some land,
Yeah.
and they travel a lot in their fifth wheels. So Shane's got it parked out at their place, and they're literally going to come up here next weekend, park the fifth wheel, and
They're going to bring the house.
Yeah,
they're literally going to bring the house up here. Yeah.
They're going to hang out with us, sleep in their house, and they're doing it. And
It's
I'm like, that
fantastic.
sounds miserable, but
What does he do for a living?
he owns a landscape company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Must
ended
be a lot of grass.
there's a tie-in there.
There's a
There's
lot
got
of
to be.
similarities.
There's got to
You're
be.
both tall.
Yeah. Good looking. You forgot that part. But we left the closing table and moved into the RV, but then got a call back from our realtor that said, "Hey, I have this house that I think you guys are gonna want, but it needs a ton of work." And we're going, "Sounds great."
All right.
And
sign
so
us up.
she went and looked at it, and we gutted that thing, sheetrock. Like we replaced plumbing,
While living
wiring.
in it?
No. We were living in the travel trailer, renovating this
Yeah.
house.
Where were you parked?
The Hoover Met and Oak Mountain State Park, and it was awesome. And SEC baseball kind of rolled in while we were parked there, and so it was a lot of fun. So we ended up getting that house finished. I want to say right before Christmas, and then our 4th child was born at the end of January. So we were able to live in that house for about 5 months, because as that house was finishing, we found another house in Oak Mountain that was about 75% complete, and we decided we want to complete it. And so then we ended up completing it, sold this other house, and moved into the other house, and that one wasn't quite done when we moved in, but it was done.
And
done
by
enough.
this point, there is literally $100 bills coming out of every scene in this. I'm making this up,
Yeah. But
you're just like, well, stash it over there. We just keep selling these houses.
yeah, and but that neighborhood that we moved into still have some great friends. Saw them in Dollywood a few weeks ago, but moved into that house, lived there for a little while, and then we felt like the Lord was calling us to Auburn, and
Pause there. Why? Why Auburn?
That's awesome.
I mean,
why not? So my
All Georgia fans want to end up in Auburn. Duh.
things that never go through a Georgia man's mind. But no, actually, I mean, even from the very beginning of us dating, I remember leaving football games and her like, if we get married and we live in Auburn, like we'd already be home by now. And I'm like, great point, but no, at the time, and but it all kind of ties together. But we had started working out at Iron Tribe.
She went to Auburn, though.
She went to Auburn, yeah.
There was a. I don't know if we had said that, but there was
Yeah.
a.
I hadn't heard that, or I hadn't got that part.
She went to Auburn, aerospace engineer at Auburn, got a master's at Mississippi State. Side note.
Both Bulldogs.
Yeah, both Bulldogs. And our kids don't know who to cheer for when it's football season.
You're confused.
They just cheer for everybody. They win every
Yay,
Saturday.
everybody wins.
Yeah. And
Well, with Auburn and Mississippi State, they're probably mostly winning with Georgia. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
you said that, not me. But it's just kind of funny, speaking of like all the way back in my story with Scott and Chick-fil-A, when I started dating Ashley, he goes, let me get this straight. She's a rocket scientist, and you studied grass. He's like, the heck do y'all talk about? She's way smarter than you are. And I'm like, tis true. But I got a minor.
Scott, she's marrying me for my looks.
Yeah, looks and personality is all I got.
Yeah.
And so we had started working out at Iron Tribe. A friend had introduced us. Bring a Friend Month is a big promotion that Iron Tribe does, and brought us there. Ashley and I, we wanted to get back into fitness. We had these kids, but we just realized our health was not what we wanted it to be, and so we started coming. We were members, I guess, for a year before we kind of asked, like, hey, Forrest, who was the guy who owned it at the time, like, what would it look like if we were to own one? And so they're a standard kind of question with franchises. Well, where would you want to be? And so I said, I'm Birmingham, but I know that's like corporate location, so probably not Auburn or like Cobb County, Georgia, which is where I'm from. And so within a few minutes, I got a response from them that said Auburn. Forrest currently has a LOI on a place in Auburn, but he says if you would like to pursue it, he'll sign it over to you. But if not, like he'll open it. And so it was at that point that our wheels were like, maybe this is the thing.
And
like,
what year
maybe this could actually happen.
Because this is a fun tie, and I don't know if you know this.
This was.
Oh, I do know this. I think.
Okay.
I think I know where you're going.
We moved to Auburn, July 29th of 2023. So this
is when your golf career is winding down, and you're deciding what's next. Is that where you're going?
No, I'm not going there.
Okay.
Actually, in 2018, a good friend of mine in Birmingham introduced me to Forrest via email.
Yeah.
They said, you need to meet this guy, likes fitness, and I had kind of gotten into doing that style of training. And I was also, it was my last, ended up being what was my last year on the PGA Tour. And I was looking for ways to create outside income from just golf, and I was just interested in other pursuits and stuff. And I went all the way to the financing discussion. I went like 2 months down the road of doing the first Iron Tribe franchise in Auburn in 2018 with Forrest. And it just basically the end of the year got hectic. I lost my card, and it kind of just fizzled on my end. And I'm glad it did, because now
me too.
Somebody else did.
I mean, literally,
When you look back, you can see the Lord working.
Yeah.
But literally, if he would have opened that, I don't know that we'd be here.
Right.
Because Iron Tribe and the idea of being able to open this was what then led us to say, okay, well, actually, what could you do? Like, what could you? Because we've been praying through just her pivoting out of TV, and she'd brought it up just with the kids and everything else. She's like, I don't know that how much longer we can do TV, and so we've been praying about it for years, and just nothing really ever seemed to work or be a fit. And then Iron Tribe opened. And then she reached out to Auburn University with her resume, and it just so happened that her job that she's currently doing was posted a few months prior, but then they shut it down going into the holiday season. And then when she reached out, like it had just been reposted like the day before.
Wow.
And she was the perfect fit for it. Mm-hmm. And so once she starts interviewing for that, we start pursuing Iron Tribe and opening it up here. We sold the big house that we had moved into that was 75% complete. So we tried to sell it. It didn't work. And then we put it back on the market and ended up selling. And then we sold that and moved into a rental property that was like 1,200 square feet with 6 people in Chelsea, Alabama. And
inching closer to Auburn,
yeah,
though.
Ever so closer. And lived there for just over 6 months. My parents, I talked them into buying a rental property, unbeknownst to me that I would be their tenant, their first tenant that moved in. And so I lived in their rental property for 6 months or so before it came into like May of 2023 when Iron Tribe was a go. She had been, verbally offered this job, and we literally just kind of look at each other and we're like, we're moving to Auburn. Like this is really happening. And then she, bless her, she did her last day on air July 28th of 2023, and then her first day at Auburn was August 1st of 2023.
Wow.
So just Friday to Monday.
Signing off.
Yeah. Signing off and signing in over here. And so the Lord's been faithful with that too. She still gets to do an aspect of meteorology. She's on the Jumbotron on football game days a lot of times, giving like a going home forecast, and she helps with the athletic department and different things of being able. So she still kind of keeps her foot in the weather role, but then she's also able to help them again with just some of the communication and stuff that she does, and she's flourishing. She's great at what she does.
She is. That's great.
Yeah. So that's kind of how we got to Auburn, your original question, and how we got to Iron Tribe. And I didn't really have 3 prayer requests to come to Iron Tribe. And but kind of looking back on it, again, looking back on your life, Chick-fil-A, 101 Mobility, Iron Tribe were all kind of presented to me the same way. They all had a location basically already set up. 101, we didn't really talk about that, but it very quickly we found where we were going to be for our home base. Mm-hmm. And then each of them, I actually already had an employee already kind of lined up for each of them. So when we kind of looked at that, we're going, it's the Lord's work again for this 3rd time. This is what we're doing. And so Austin, who was our coach in Birmingham, he ended up expressing interest in coming here with Forrest, and then Forrest kind of passed it on to me. So before we even opened, we knew he was coming, and Austin and I we were fast friends. By the time when we first met each other, and he was the afternoon coach.
Austin, I love you.
Yeah, and I mean, so much so that he invited us to his wedding like 4 weeks after knowing him. But like we just knew we were going to be fast friends, and we have been, and it's been a joy to be able to experience life here with them and kind of grow with them here and see them flourish, and his wife Mariah flourishing at her school too. So
Yeah,
it's been awesome. Yeah, man.
The Boones are awesome.
Yep.
Can you talk about, you hit on this a little bit earlier about the culture difference between Chick-fil-A and some other places, but like as a Christian business owner of not explicitly Christian businesses, kind of what that looks like?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so it comes down to, we're not a Christian company, but we're definitely run by Christian principles. With 101 Mobility, like we have staff meetings. We pray before our staff meetings. We ask our customers. A lot of times we'll have customers that are having cancer or a death or whatever. We ask hey, can we pray for you? Or hey, as a staff, we pray for our customers. Can you include that? And then like with Iron Tribe, like it's the music that we listen to. We listen to non-explicit music. The clothes that people wear within the gym, we kind of try to regulate that as much as we can. And really part of our vision for both locations is a place I want my daughter to work. So if I feel comfortable having my daughter walk in, hear the music in the gym, see the clothes that people are wearing, or into 101 Mobility and the way that we're interacting and talking with customers, like that's kind of how we have tied in Christian principles or Christian ideas into our businesses. And ultimately, if you're the owner of it, like it has to start with me, in the life that I try to
doesn't rip
lead.
his shirt off when he's
That's right.
midway through a workout.
Never. And but so that's kind of how we try to tie that in. I at the gym in particular, like I have told Austin, Rusty, Caroline, I want y'all talking about Jesus to people. Like if somebody comes in and they're having a hard day, like we need to talk to them, and like we need to share Jesus, and they've been terrific as far as doing that. Like they have no reservations about doing that. And so it's been, when we first had the idea of like, hey, let's open up Iron Tribe, it was one of those, like people are going to get stronger and they're going to lose fat and it's going to be all these things. It's going to be great. And it has been that tenfold. But like the stories that I get to hear are like, marriages that are saved.
The Wetzels.
Yeah.
Who we've had on here.
Yeah. So they were a great example, and of just kind of coming back together through fitness and through Iron Tribe. We've had, people who have had miscarriages that come into the gym to kind of help cope and go through that, and people who have realized that, hey, maybe their marriage isn't biblical and that they need to step away from it, but now they feel strong enough because they've been doing Iron Tribe. So it's been so much more than just muscle and fat loss.
Well, even they're carrying the cross at Easter. That's a good example too.
Yeah. So we do an Easter workout where we walk around a church 3 miles carrying weight on our back like a cross to kind of reflect on Jesus. So we've done that 3 times, and it's powerful for the people doing it. We have a few people that will honk at us and different things, and you were out there, and so it's so just we try to tie in Jesus as much as possible, and just any way that we can. I mean, even some classes you may have been in a couple, like it'll be worship Wednesday, and we'll just play worship music, or maybe not worship music, but Christian music, and we can. There could be a difference.
5 a.m. with Rusty is mostly like KB and Force Frank.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a little ways how we try to tie in our faith and our beliefs to business. So
That's great. Those are some good, just foundational thoughts for anybody in the workplace. But I mean, you can set the tone of that as the business owner.
Yeah, and it comes out with hiring too, right? Like you can't ask somebody, but you can find out. And even with Chick-fil-A, like right, not everybody's a believer who works there, but and that was maybe one of the first shocks to me when I first started working there. I was like, oh wait, not everybody is, and it's like, no, they're not, and so it doesn't have to be that way with your team members or your customers. But man, if I'm not sharing the most important thing in my life through work, then I'm not being a good steward, in my opinion, of what the Lord has given me. And he can take it away from me and give it to somebody else, right? And so to me, it's who I am, it's what I do. We pursued local ministers when we first got open. Like we intentionally went to 3 of the bigger churches around Auburn and was like, we need y'all. Like this is the kind of culture we want to create and what we want to build. And it's people like you that we need filling our gym because we want Jesus conversations to happen. And so we intentionally sought it out. And so they were the three big churches were some of our first members were the ministers there. So
is that how Caleb ended up there? Or is that not one of the ones?
He eventually got there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Caleb absolutely qualifies in that role.
Yeah.
Caleb's there because he's a freaking savage and he
He's
knows
a
how to
stud.
teach strength.
Yeah, he's a stud. Here's another kind of fun story. It's all God's stories. But so Caleb's wife and my wife taught a girls' Bible study in Montgomery, Alabama when he was on staff at First Baptist Montgomery down there. So they taught girls from 6th grade all the way up to 12th grade. And then some of those girls were they were called ladies in waiting, and they were in our wedding. But then they moved up to Huntsville, and then to Auburn.
Wow.
So like I've known Caleb
Pharaohs are great
for 14, 15 years now, and yeah, it was a blessing to have Caleb on staff.
You guys need.
My kids are staring at me through the. I think they're just.
I love it. But that's
speaking. We need to have Caleb on here.
Caleb would be great. Yeah. And let me be clear. What I meant earlier was Caleb is the college pastor at Grace. Just an awesome guy who loves his family, loves Jesus, very kind and intentional, and But he is like an Olympic weightlifting savant. He's fun to watch, super strong. He's given me a few cues and tips that are extremely helpful. And he teaches a strength class for
He does. So and I've attended the class, and sometimes I was watching coach, and I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be warming up too. Like I was just enjoying your interaction with people. And so yeah, he's fantastic. But he kind of came on from the history that we had together, and then just realizing the culture that we were trying to create, and we're blessed enough to create. Yeah. And we just kind of had a conversation of him wanting to join the gym, and we were like,
what if you also?
What if you coached? And, so yeah, he coaches 3 classes a week. So love him.
He's great.
I'm looking through. I feel like there was something that you put in there that I wanted to make sure we hit.
If anybody lives in the Auburn Opelika area and you're looking for a great gym community, come join us.
Yeah.
Ben's there early in the morning. If you want to work out with the Entrusted
that's right.
podcast crew, Ben's there early in the morning.
We're both there on Saturday mornings.
Saturday mornings, we're there. It really has been a sweet community, and I've built lots of friendships there, and it's a regular rhythm of my day, and it brings me joy to go through there and see friends.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I appreciate that, and it's coming from our end too. I mean, it's a blessing to have people like y'all come in and be able to see them, and there is something about sweating together.
Oh yeah,
that like draws you together, and
well, especially. Never mind. Go ahead, keep going.
I want to hear it now.
No, go ahead.
I was just simply going to say, like, there's probably studies about this that I can't.
Off air. Remember your thought. I'll hear it later.
But like just the idea of we'll say suffering together, sweating, going through a workout that can be difficult, just brings you kind of closer together. It breaks down barriers to where people can then converse and interact with each other. love the culture and love the people that come into the class, but it's always a lot of fun too on our end to see people hanging out 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes after class, just doing life together.
Yeah.
And then you look back on it, and weekly, I wouldn't say daily because that would be a lie, but
I'm gonna
weekly,
sign up for tomorrow right now, live on the air.
as you should.
I forgot to sign up for tomorrow morning. Okay, we're good. There we go.
But not in the. Again, I should probably do it more, but like there are days that I'll stand there and see 2 or 3 different pockets of people talking after class, and it's just like, thank you, Lord.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thank you for doing this, for creating this, for opening this, and bringing these people together who may not have ever met outside of the gym, but now they're sharing life and they're sharing difficulties and they're having ladies' night dinners without us knowing, and just kind of doing life together, unprompted by anybody else, but just being together. So
it's awesome.
That was awesome.
You got anything else, Mr. Barber?
I don't. That was a big takeaway, is just being faithful in the workplace too. It's a deep desire of my heart, but I definitely fall short often in explicit gospel opportunity in business conversation. Just leading from the front there. That's it's an encouragement to me to be around men who do that well and are intentional about that. And I see it at Iron Tribe. I mean, it's clear. And it also opens being in that culture. I mean, I've had great conversations in that gym because it emboldens me to just step into a culture that's already created.
Yeah.
That's good. So that's kind of my big takeaway that I've been sitting here mulling over.
But it's, in this post-Genesis 3 world, like, it's also hard because what if you do put your faith out there? How will people respond?
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it goes back to then, well, no, if the Lord called you to this, this is why he called you to it, and you need to be faithful in that, and kind of a come what may attitude. But and if the Lord's supposed to bankrupt you because of talking about him, then that's his path for you. Yeah. And then you have to believe in the Lord's sovereignty of he's going to see you through it, and on the
It'll
other
be
side.
another story that you'll look back and see his faithfulness in.
Yeah. And part of the entrepreneurial life, like that sometimes is what's hard. I mean, because obviously it gets hard, and but just being able to look back at what he's done in my life and in anybody else's life, and just say, hey, you've been faithful then. Why would you not be faithful now? And why would you not see me through this? And so I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep going forward. And so that thought has got me through so many days.
I also will never go back to the iPad and put on Katy Perry radio again because I've done that multiple times.
Well, as we wrap up, one thing that you said you wanted to make sure we talk about was you wanted to give us a breakdown on predestination.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
Is that in there?
I think I said don't. I said, we can if you want. I forget what I put in there.
There's a question that's like, is there anything you want to make sure that we talk about? And he said, aside from predestination, JK.
Just give us a 90-second theological overview of free will versus election.
I think we should maybe get somebody who's been to seminary in here to talk through that a little bit better.
I had to do it. That's what you put it in
there. That was good.
Yeah, I love that.
Was clever.
I kind of forgot that I put that in.
Well, I mean, you've listened before. You know kind of how we wrap this up, and you've kind of danced around this a few times. But just to summarize, as you think about all these stories of the Lord's faithfulness, what he's done in your life, when you look backwards and you look forwards and you look to today, what you've been entrusted with and how you're stewarding that.
Yeah, I think that I've been blessed, and the Lord's been so gracious to me and to my family, and to be able to use me through some of these businesses. And yeah, there's this entrepreneurial lifestyle, but also not everybody's called to that, right? My family is not called to being an entrepreneur, and So in whatever aspect you're in, like, you have to just realize that, hey, you're there because the Lord placed you there. If you're a believer or not, the Lord placed you there, and that you just have to be faithful in it, steward it, and just really try to bring him into conversations. And so for us, my big thing is whatever I've been entrusted to, 4 kids, a house, a beautiful wife, a family, careers. Like, this is what the Lord has provided for me and entrusted to me, and I need to use it to glorify Him in any way that I can. And so that's ultimately what we try to do, and we have those conversations. Ashley and I, we have a house. Well, we should have people over. We should host Sunday school groups. We should host youth. Like, how are we using this to glorify Him? And so I think that just doesn't come with work. That comes with your whole life. So,
Amen.
Thank
you, sir. Appreciate
it. It was fun.
Yeah, I had a great time. So thank y'all guys.
You're gonna work out with me tomorrow?
Join Iron Tribe.
Yeah. What 8:15?
Try it. I'll go whenever you want to go tomorrow.
Why don't y'all just both come at 5 a.m.?
We should.
Thanks.
We should. Yeah, we should.
I'm out.
Well, I'll see. I think I have an appointment at 8 o'clock, but maybe we can work out afterwards. So do the noon class.
We should do one of our first group activations that we ever do should be like just an entrusted listener workout. We should just get like a community entrusted listener workout day on Saturday.
I'd be all for that.
At Iron Tribe.
I'd be all for that. I mean, it comes back to we've had Bible studies at Iron Tribe, and we've had church meet at Iron Tribe. Like this, yes.
That'd be great. That'd be cool.
Listeners, come out.
Everybody think about that. We'll come up with a plan.
Let us know if you'd be interested.
Yeah, please send us something.
I love it.
Shalom.
Thank you for your time.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Hey guys, this is Blaine, one of the hosts here at Entrusted. We are really grateful you chose to spend some time with us today. We know you have lots of options, and we hope that the thoughts and the messages from this talk we had with our guests really propelled you to explore the design that you were created for. The best ways to support us, check out our socials, like, subscribe, leave a review, tell your friends, family, coworkers, neighbors. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope you'll tune back in next time.